Cool. Welcome to the South London Ronin podcast. This is episode 005, right, number 5. I'm Adio, if you don't know, or Ariel, and that's my name. And yeah, today we're going to talk about a topic which I don't really like to talk about often, so I want to broach it once and for all. And the topic is racism and so me. I think everybody has their own experiences of racism, what racism is, and the kind of how it's affected them in their life. But I've always want to talk about it from my perspective because I think it's a bit unique, very different to most. If you don't know, I currently live in Japan. I am Nigerian ethnicity, Yoruba. I'm from London, so I'm British-born Nigerian, but I live in Japan now, and I've experienced a lot of different things. And just before I started, I want to use a quote, and this quote is really, I know it really stands really strong. It's very modern, but very contemporary. It's from one of my peers. It says, "Melanin strong, so we all stand out. Prejudice everywhere that I exist. Feels like I live my whole life on trial." All right, and if you are, I don't know, maybe it depends. I'm talking from perspective of a black person, that it's like feels no matter where you are, you feel like you're being judged, whether it's the case or not, that people are judging you based on the color of your skin. And we go our whole life with that weight on us. And it's something I wish that we could just take off. And sometimes it does leave me. It leaves me, especially since I've been living here. It's just sometimes there's a sudden crash back to reality where, oh yeah, people view me as this. People think of us as a certain stereotype or as a monolith. And let you tell you that from all shades and colors and types and personalities, the darkest person in the world is black and the whitest person in the world is black. All right, check it out if you don't know. Anyway, so let me just talk about my story or my path, and then let that be that. So if anyone wants to talk about racism with me, I'll just refer them back to this. So I was raised in a town called Bermondsey, Southeast London, SE16. I love that place. Well, it's my stomping grounds. I don't live there anymore, obviously. And Bermondsey in the late 80s, early 90s was not a place to be if you look like me, if you're dark. There's NF Stronghold, the National Front. They're super right wing. They're like, much more reform, much more than reform or UKIP. Like they were out there doing damage to black people politically and physically and mentally. And yeah, that's where I grew up. So I grew up in like a racist a town. Like maybe not so, I don't know how it is now. I mean, I'm sure people have been mixing there much more, black people. But when I was in school, like in my class, it was like 1 or 2. And it was rife, like just in primary school. Even though I enjoyed my primary school days, obviously looking back, because like there's a lot of times when people would racially abuse me, bully me, racially bully me and stuff like that. I remember, I'm gonna keep it brief, but I remember like some guys like, you can't come and play in the sun because you're gonna melt, you're gonna melt, and they wouldn't let me play football and stuff like that. And just being a kid, I don't even know what was going through my mind, but I'm sure it did weigh on me. And people saying, oh, you wash your skin. If you wash your skin off, you can be white or whatever. And just people being racist, calling you the N-word, just niggers. I said it, I didn't say the N-word. Just calling you, oh, you black nigger, or you black something, you black cunt, or something like that. And a lot. People literally throwing eggs at you from a car or screaming at car, grown men. I knew like people came and did graffiti on the wall. They carved in NF. Or I had one of our neighbours, they had their black family, they had their car bombed, like not petrol, but yeah, petrol bombed and set on fire. Someone I knew had been racially attacked and stabbed in the neck. There's so much stuff that went on in Bermondsey, and that was racism. And you get it like casually going up, and there's few, like if you go to certain areas, there's that you shouldn't go to if you're black. You shouldn't go to the area because there are a lot of racists around there, and it's there's a lot of racist people in Bermondsey and in London and the UK, but because it's more multicultural, it's getting less and less, but it's still there somehow. Anyway, but the thing is, let me go back to school. So it came to a point where one point, I don't know what happened, but I remember being taken to the headmaster's or the headmistress's office, Miss Mortimer, thank you very much. And they were like, I was like crying, and I was like, oh, I wanna, I'm being bullied so much, and I wish I wasn't black anymore. I want to be white, kind of thing. I don't even, yeah, like kind of thing, because I don't want, not because I wanted to be white, because I wanted them to stop picking on me, kind of thing. And Mrs. Mortimer Lee, she said like, she said a lot of good things, and it was like, the world would be boring if everyone is the same color, and you should be, not should you be, I can't remember what she said, but she made me feel good about being different than other kids. And after that, I think maybe they had a stern talking with some of the other kids too, but after that, things were generally better. But I remember one time I was standing by a water fountain, because I remember someone saying, oh, if you wash your skin, you can be white. If you go and wash your skin, if you wash your skin in this water fountain, you become white. And I was standing there thinking, oh, I'm going to go and do it, wash my skin and turn white. Obviously now I know that would never happen. But then I made a decision, like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be white. I want to be black, and I want to be black. This is me. This is in primary school. So I must have been somewhere between 6 and 7, 8, 9, something like that kind of age. But yeah, I remember that vividly to today. So, and I don't think, and the thing I'm not saying, so that's the racism I experienced in Bermondsey. But before that, and this is a topic I may broach one time, but yeah, so when I was, before I moved to Bermondsey, before I lived in Bermondsey, I lived in a town called Fareham. So I might broach on this another time, but there was, I basically lived with a white family who took, a white family, or an English family who took care of me. And they took care of me from when I was 0 to about like 5 years old. So that's like, that's very important, your formative years. So I learned, about love. They loved me, they cared for me, they looked after me, they showed me a lot. I don't remember all the interactions, but I have a lot of strong and good feelings for them and love to them to this day. Right, so I still consider them my family as well, even though it's, a complicated situation. But yeah, so when I moved back to, but when I moved to Bermondsey and lived with my family, I can't be like, oh yeah, all people saying, oh yeah, all white people are racist. I can't say that, because it's not the case. I just came from a prime example of love for someone who's not even, your blood or even your skin color. And then you can't tell me that all white people are racist, because there's an example. So I said the same, obviously I think Lil Wayne said something about a white cop that saved his life, so white people can't be racist. That's not true, because he's not racist, that person that saved your life, but a lot of other people are, you know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that was that. And also, just to go back into Bermondsey, this is there is a lot of race people, there are a lot of non-racist people. I'm sure the percentage for like 80-20 or something, because a lot of my neighbours, I went to their house, stayed in the house, I played with the kids. Obviously I played with the kids, and didn't play with the adults. So we went to the house all the time, and they're all white families. So there was that. So there's, it's like you grow up in a race area, you meet good people and you meet people and not so good. Because if you're racist and abusive to people that are, because of the colour of their skin, I think you're rotten, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that was that. I don't know, I'm going. So yeah, those are the things. So I hate when people say like, oh, all white people are racist, because it's like, nah. I mean, I've got an example, and obviously it doesn't mean that no one is. If that person's racist, doesn't mean everyone's racist. If that person's not racist, doesn't mean everyone's not racist, you know what I mean? And then, anyway, fast forward through, gone through work, I moved to Japan now. And in Japan, it's like, not to say that racism doesn't exist, that's not true, but to say that it's not like, you're not going to walk down the street and someone's going to call you an N-word, or or something like that, or a black this or a black that. But they have that kind of like old school, that they still have like kind of not blackface, but well, people dressing up as like black people for Halloween. I've seen that before, or doing that on TV to impersonate someone. That kind of, I don't know, that kind of ignorant stuff, which is a bit behind, but that's just the way they do things. And people saying, oh, you look like insert black character, like you look like there's Bobby Ologun and Bob Sapp that are out here. They're two black people that are on TV, that were on TV, or saying, "Oh, you look like Will Smith," or that, and every black person will be called Will Smith. Like it's like people calling every Chinese person Jackie Chan. You know that one. And then also, yeah, people walking past you and they might just be saying, "Oh, Kobe Bryant" or Michael Jordan, random things like that. That happens sometimes. Yeah, people want to take your picture because you're black, and then that kind of thing. But if the thing is, if someone walks past you on the street and they hate your guts because you're black, they're just going to walk past you on the street. If you drop something, they're going to help you. They're going to pick up to you. So they're all like, Japanese culture, everyone is like generally civil to each other. So that happens here. But there is racism. And it's really started to rear its head recently with the rise of the far right against immigration, which obviously immigration needs to be managed carefully, but it's coming out like you can see it on keyboard warriors on Facebook and Instagram, and well, not so much on Facebook, but Instagram and Twitter. You can see people with their rhetoric, "Go home foreigners," or if I make a post on my Instagram, people are like, "Oh, we don't want you in the country," or "Go home, you black this," or "You black that," or even they write the N word, or and I'm saying the N word anyway. They write like nigga, NIGA, or something like that, and that kind of thing. So it's there, but people do not do it to your face. It's kind of hidden. And personally, like I'd rather walk past someone who doesn't like me and they just ignore me than walk past me and then say, "Oh, black cunt, fuck you," or something like that. I'd rather that. Yeah, I'd rather people be civil to me, because that also gives them a chance to actually know you in real life. Imagine I start working for a company, or I join a club. Like I play basketball with Japanese people, and I do Japanese archery with Japanese people. If I went there and then a few of them didn't like me because I was black, but they didn't say anything, and then after a few interactions they realized, oh, what they thought was wrong, the thing, oh, he must be a criminal, then, and they realize, oh, he's really, really kind, or he's really, really just a normal person, and then which all of us are, just normal people, then they'd be like, it gives space for someone to actually really learn. But if you're abrasive from the jump, then we're never gonna, we're never gonna have any interactions and no chance for healing. So that's the reason I like that. I mean, obviously I don't want you to be racist at all, but if you're racist, I'd rather you just don't talk to me instead of coming and being abrasive. And I've touched on it really briefly, but yeah, the far right is growing, and they might actually, one of the new parties might actually win the election that's coming soon. And if they do win, I wonder what kind of policies they'll do to get rid of foreigners, because they need foreigners for their workforce, but they don't want, this. And even if they don't want a certain type of foreigner, foreigners are foreigners. We're all foreigners. We're all immigrants. And yeah, I don't know what expat is, to be honest. I check out what the definition is, but yeah, we're all immigrants here. So take one of us, then they'll start taking the rest of us out. What else? Yeah, I was talking about traveling to Asia, and this is kind of different. This is not just race and also like nationality. And I went to Thailand, and this is kind of like maybe I betrayed myself, but I was going to go into a club, and they were like, "Nah, you can't come in. No Africans in this club." And what did I say? I said, I'm British. Because we have to bring a passport, so it's my British passport. Obviously, I have a Nigerian passport too, but it's like using some kind of British privilege. They're like, "Oh, okay, you can come in," so kind of thing. So you've got that here as well. Like, it's not just your race. That's in Thailand, but in Japan, if you say you're Nigerian, they're gonna associate you with the guys in Kabukicho or something like that. And every Nigerian's been labeled. Every black person Kabukicho is labeled as Nigerian, even though that's not the case. But you're labeled as yeah, you are one of those guys. But if you say, "Oh, British," they'll be like, Harry Potter. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of that as well around. But yeah, you know what? I kind of I was like, I need to record an episode, because I've been just leaving it. So I set out today as a day to record some stuff, and now that I've recorded, I feel good. But I didn't want to cry on camera, so okay. I didn't want to cry on camera, so that part might be erased. And if you're like, "Oh, you cried on camera," well, I did. But yeah, that's it. what else are my views on racism? Oh yeah, there's another thing to add in, to throw in is I don't know what you call this, but sometimes I see people and I think, ah, I hope they're not racist, kind of thing. And it's my fault. And sometimes I've seen, and I've done. This is bad, obviously bad, but I don't act on it. But I've seen someone think, oh, that guy looks he looks racist, and they've ended up not being racist. Do you know what I mean? Like not at all. And it's like I feel negative, bad for that but I didn't act on it. I wasn't like treating him in a certain way. I was just being cautious because yeah, you never know. And I think obviously there are a lot of people here coming from countries that don't have black people, and or they are the only black people they do interact with are maybe people, illegal immigrants or whatever, and then they might be like, oh, well, who's this guy? What's this guy? So yeah, always cautious around people, new people. Did I have anything else? Did I have anything else to say? Oh yeah, because I work as a tour guide, so every now and then people are like, oh, you're the tour guide kind of thing. You don't look like a tour guide. So yeah, that happens too. But I guess if you give space for people to interact with each other and talk to each other, then all that racism stuff goes away. All right, let me try and do. Okay. All right, so thank you for watching, and that's the end of this episode. If you leave a comment, that would be great, and I'll be trying to do more. I'm trying to record another one today. All right, cool. Peace.